Hey guys, welcome back. In the last episode, I talked about the first guy I met for arranged marriage and how it ended. So, there were a few more after him too. There was this guy who, I don't know, his teeth looked like he hasn't brushed in a week because I think he used to chew some tobacco or Rajnigandha, I don't know. Then there was a guy who kept reminding me that he was financially unstable for like every 5 seconds in the call. Like, I don't know what do I even respond to that. And then there was a guy who wanted me to hide the fact that I was divorced. Like, how are you going to keep that a secret for the rest of your life from your family? After a few more arranged marriage meetings, I realized something. My mother and I clearly had very different taste in men. And that's when I started considering dating apps. While I was going through the process of arranged marriage meeting, someone suggested that I should try online apps, like matrimony apps or dating apps. I wasn't fully ready to start the dating online because it felt risky. I mean, even my clothes don't look the same after delivery. I don't trust online shopping fully, and now I am supposed to trust it with a husband. Hard pass. But curiosity got the better of me. So I thought I'll give it a shot. I avoided the matrimony apps because they felt more like parents' projects rather than people who actually want to get married. So then I started researching which app should I even try because there are so many dating apps out there. It's difficult to choose from. So I did what any confused people would do. Like I googled my way into the dating world. I finally downloaded a few apps, but the real struggle was something else, like creating the profile. There were so many questions, like choose your photos, writing a bio. They asked questions like, what are you looking for in a partner, that, this, etc. But by the end of it, I decided one app is enough. I'm not going to do this again for a different app. And once my profile was set up, then the swiping began. And I'm not going to lie, it was kind of fun. Going through profiles, pictures, hobbies, bios. Some people on the dating app were trying too hard to sound interesting. And some profiles looked like they were completely copied from the internet. And some men clearly believed holding a fish in their photo made them look cool. The likes on my profile started flooding in, which was honestly a little overwhelming. I liked some profile based on looks, common interest, vegetarians, or religious beliefs. And then I matched with the first guy I actually decided to meet. The first guy I met on dating app was he was actually really nice, which made everything that followed way more confusing. He came from a completely different background than mine, which made it a little more exciting than I expected. So we started chatting. He was very funny and flirty and charming, and talking to him felt easy. After a few days of texting, he asked me out on a date. My heart genuinely started racing. I mean, I hadn't gone on a date in almost a decade, and suddenly I was getting ready to meet a man that I met online. I mean, it was unbelievable. Part of me was nervous, and part of me was excited, and part of me couldn't believe this was my life now. We decided to meet for a tea date, because we were both tea drinkers. He picked the place and the timing. We met after office hours on a weekday. I had informed only a few of my close friends that I was meeting someone from a dating app because honestly, the whole thing still felt slightly dangerous in my head. But once we started talking, things felt surprisingly natural. And honestly, that was a big surprise, because I didn't expect that. I had spent months sitting through arranged marriage meetings where conversations felt like HR interviews. But meeting him felt more relaxed. We spoke for hours about work, life, relationships, family. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, I slowly stopped being cautious. And the attraction after emotional loneliness hits different. You're not just attracted to the person, you're attracted to the feeling of connection again. He was confident, charming, funny, and most importantly, he was intentional about dating. At least that's what it looked like in the beginning. He planned dates properly, he texted me consistently, he remembered all the small details that I told him, which actually felt like, I don't know, it was like he was putting some effort, but basically it was the bare minimum. But honestly, after modern dating, this low effort, this basic effort, it feels extraordinary. After years of marriage and then divorce and then awkward arranged marriage meetings, this felt exciting, maybe a little too exciting. I think a part of me missed the experience itself, how you get the butterflies, how you have chemistry with this person, the feeling of looking forward to someone again. After our first date, things actually felt good. We kept talking and then we met again. On our second date, he cooked me dinner at his place, which was weirdly intimate. There's something about someone cooking for you that creates a false sense of emotional safety. Like suddenly, this isn't casual anymore. It started feeling more personal. And maybe I started romanticizing it a little. At that point, I still thought things would go somewhere. This relationship could go somewhere. He actually liked anime, and I remember planning little things in my head for when he got back from the holidays, like watching certain shows together. And looking back now, that's actually funny to me because sometimes attachment doesn't begin with huge moments, it begins quietly. Future plans inside your own head. I had even gotten him a small Christmas gift before he left. And no, this isn't about the gift itself. It's about realizing later that I was emotionally moving forward while he probably wasn't. At that time, I ignored that feeling. I kept telling myself that he might be busy, he might this might be normal. I'm just overthinking that he is not texting me back. So I kept texting anyway, kept trying to maintain the connection. And I think many women know this phase very well, where your intuition already knows the answer, but your emotions are still negotiating with reality. Then, after some time, he left for his hometown for holidays, like almost for 20 days. And that's when things slowly started changing. Not dramatically, not obviously, just little shifts. The texting became less frequent. Whenever I asked, he said he was busy with some work at home, he was with the family. The energy changed between us. The replies became shorter, and this is the dangerous part. When someone slowly withdraws, you start overanalyzing yourself instead of accepting reality. You start thinking, maybe I'm expecting too much, or I'm reading too much into these things. Maybe I am the one with a problem. But deep down, your nervous system already knows something has already changed. When he came back from the holidays, we still met a few times. Maybe not the things that I had planned, like watching anime or going to cafes. But emotionally, it already felt different to me. I noticed I was becoming more anxious before his replies, more aware of the gaps, more emotionally careful, and slowly I started detaching too. Not because I stopped liking him, but because inconsistency like this eventually exhausts attraction. Eventually, we just drifted apart. No dramatic ending, no confrontation, no big closure conversations. We still have each other's number, but we don't really talk anymore. And honestly, I think that's the strange thing about modern dating. Sometimes people can become emotionally significant in your life for a brief period of time and then slowly turn into strangers again. Not because they are evil or something, not because the connection was fake, just because the timing, the intentions, emotional availability, all of it matters more than chemistry alone. And I think that experience taught me something important. Attention is very easy to find nowadays, but the consistency is rare. And before I continue with this story, I want to say something important. I know this podcast sounds very personal because, of course, it is. These are my experiences with marriage, divorce, dating, loneliness, confusion, attraction, all of it. But I'm not making this series just to talk about men. I'm making it because I know there are so many women silently going through these phases while pretending they're completely fine. There is a pressure on women to move on quickly. There is a pressure on women to settle down. There is a pressure to stay desirable. The pressure to rebuild your life while emotionally exhausted. And honestly, I think women deserve more spaces where we can talk about these experiences without shame. A big reason I eventually want to build things for women, even beyond this podcast, is because confidence after heartbreak or divorce doesn't come back automatically. You have to slowly rebuild it. You have to build it emotionally, you have to build it mentally, and even physically. And I think every woman deserves to feel confident, attractive, feminine, and comfortable in her own skin again, regardless of relationship status. That's a huge part of why I'm sharing these experiences. See you in the next episode. Thank you.